Okay, this is our basic soft white sandwich loaf. In the mixing bowl, there are 4 cups of bread flour. You can use all-purpose here as well. There are 2 teaspoons of yeast. Now we're going to combine the yeast and the flour before we add anything else because there are 2 ingredients we're going to add to this that could kill our yeast. Our water, if it's too hot, could kill our yeast. We need to make sure the temperature is good on that. And our salt. If we add the salt directly onto here, it will kill our yeast before it has a chance to rise. So we're going to mix this in, let the flour kind of coat the yeast before we add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, now that we have that done, I'm going to add, I have a 1/4 cup of dry milk and a 1/4 cup of just regular old white granulated sugar. And this is because most breads that I make have flour, yeast, water, salt, that's it. But because this is a sandwich loaf, you want it to be a little more, you know, rich. So we're gonna mix that up a little bit. You gotta love that mixer noise. After that's incorporated in here, we're going to add our salt. And I believe I'm adding it by the handful here, so it's about a teaspoon and a half of salt. So you're putting salt for flavor. So you add salt to taste. If I'm making a crustier loaf, I'll typically add more salt because I've already got the flavor in the milk and the sugar in this, as well as the butter we're about to add now. Okay, so next we're going to add our butter and our water. It is very important to make sure that your water is warm and not hot. If it's hot, it will kill the yeast. If you kill your yeast, your bread won't rise and you'll end up with crackers instead of bread, especially when it comes to the soft, white, fluffy bread that all of us Americans like. So we're going to forgive the noise here, about to get loud. We're going to incorporate our butter in there. And we're going to slowly add our water. Now you can do this in a food process, you can do it in a food processor, but because this dough is going to be thick, I actually burned out a friend of mine's motor by telling her to do this in a food processor, so maybe not the best idea. But a mixer with a dough hook or a bread machine on the dough setting will both work fine. You could probably do it by hand, but to be very honest, I haven't in a very long time because it's a lot of work. So we're going to add, this is about 1.25 cups, and you want to kind of add it slowly so that it can kind of start incorporating in there. And what you're going to do is you're going to watch for your dough to start pulling away from the side. Once your dough starts pulling away from the side, then you're good with your water. Let's see here. I'm going to turn this up a minute and see if we can get flour all over the camera. Okay, we still need some more water. See how it's breaking up a minute? So we still need more water in there. And again, this is going to vary on where you live, how humid it is, you know, the humidity that you may have in your flour even, depending on where you keep it, I'm sure has something to do with it. Let's see here. Okay, we're starting to pull away from the bowl a little bit more, but we still look a little bit dry down there, so we're going to add a little bit more. I hope that's good because that's all I have really right here beside me. Okay, I finished mixing this for sake of your ears. But you see how you've pulled almost completely away from the bowl? There's nothing left in the bottom of this bowl that resembles flour. So this is what you want. This is how you know you have the right consistency. You have the right amount of water versus flour. So on this stage here, once we get to this stage where you're clear from your bowl, we're going to let it go on about the 2 setting for about 2 or 3 minutes. It just really depends. This is kneading it. You can pull it out and knead it by hand, which I really enjoy kneading bread. This bread can be a little sticky, so I usually let the machine do the work. But you should see no mess in the bottom of your bowl. This is a great recipe because not only do you make a mess of your mixer, but then it pretty much, the dough cleans up and there's very little cleanup to do with the bowl. I'm not sure if that made sense, but those of you who know me know what I'm trying to say. So I'm not going to record this for 2 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pause this and show you what we have after. Okay, so we have mixed our dough, and you will see it holds together, holds its shape very well. And I know you can't feel it, but you can kind of see how smooth, it should feel like a baby's butt. If it feels like a baby's butt, then you know that you've kneaded it good. So we're going to sit it in there. I don't know why I pressed it. You don't need to press it down. We're going to plop it in here and we're going to cover it. I actually use these little restaurant quality bins to store mine in, only because I make pretty much 4 batches of bread a day. So we're going to cover this and let this rise. And right now this is, it says 2 quarts. It's definitely not 2 quarts because It's not taking up the whole thing. It's probably closer to a quart if we were to squish it all down. So we're gonna let it rise to at least double its size. Okay, this is 3 hours later. We're coming almost up to the 4-quart mark. So we're going to take this out and we're going to plop it in a bread pan and cover it with saran wrap and a towel. Let it rise again, and then I will show you before we bake it. Okay, I forgot to tell you, I spray this basically non-stick spray with flour. I'm sure there's other brands. This is a brand that was on sale, so it's a brand I bought. But I always spray this in the bottom of the pan. Let's see if I'm coordinated enough to videotape and spray. Woo, this is probably way more than I needed. I do this because if you don't do this, then your bread sometimes has a hard time releasing from your pan. So it's like, it's an insurance policy. An insurance policy in a can, so that your bread comes out beautiful. Okay, so it's been sitting here an hour. We're going to look at that. All puffy. Okay, now the plastic should just peel right off. There's enough butter in the dough. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, when we bake it, it's going to puff up even more. So we're going to bake it at 350 for, like I said before, maybe 40, 45 minutes. I really don't know, but we'll see when it's perfectly golden brown. Okay, so this has been baked 30 minutes, and it's a nice golden crust. You can make it longer the darker the crust. We're going to take it out now, and we're going to wrap it in saran wrap so that the crust on the top gets nice and soft right now. Hear that? So it'll be a little crispy on the top if we don't do this. If we wrap it up in saran wrap, then tomorrow morning for breakfast, everything will be super, super soft. So let it cool completely while it's wrapped in saran wrap, and you'll have buttery soft bread. I hope you guys enjoy.